Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Nothing definite despite Cowboys building interest in returning 5x Pro Bowler. The Dallas Cowboys stayed on brand and addressed the trenches in the early rounds of the 2025 NFL Draft, drafting Alabama guard Tyler Booker and Boston College defensive end Donovan Ezeruaku with their first two picks. However, this ended up giving the team a small hole at receiver, where there is still no clear-cut WR2 behind All-Pro CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Tolbert has produced more like a WR3 during his 3 years in the NFL, whilst former Panthers wideout Jonathan Mingo has just 585 career receiving yards over the course of his first 2 years in the National Football League. Outside of a blockbuster trade for a proven commodity, like the Pittsburgh Steelers' George Pickens, who was reported to be a potential expendable asset to the Steelers last week by NFL insider Adam Schefter, it looks like the Cowboys will have to look to the slightly lackluster remains of the free agent market to find another starting receiver. Thus the Fort Worth Star-Telegram's Nick Harris noted that Dallas have building team interest in bringing back none other than former Cowboy Amari Cooper. Per Harris, there is building team interest in bringing free agent Amari Cooper back for a reunion in Dallas, according to a Star-Telegram team source. However, NFL insider and arbiter of reason, Jane Slater, slightly tempered expectations with regard to that specific addition. As at Nick Harris FWST suggested Amari Cooper has absolutely been discussed internally, but I am told, by a source informed, other WRs being discussed as well and nothing definitive or happening yet. As Slater notes, Cooper is one of multiple possible receiver signings that Dallas could look to make over the coming days, and that could include turning to the trade market, per Nick Harris. Amari Cooper is not the player he was when Jerry Jones traded a first-round pick for him midway through the 2018 season. Cooper is also not the player he was when he was shipped to the Cleveland Browns for a fifth-rounder back in the 2022 offseason, before putting up consecutive 1,000+ yard receiving seasons. With 647 receiving yards to his name across games for the Browns and Buffalo Bills in 2024, Cooper is not finished by any means. And with the right pieces around him and a good scheme, it is quite conceivable we could see Cooper operate as a low to average number 2 option wideout in the NFL in 2025, even if he is not the top 20 player he was considered just a year ago. Perhaps the team would prefer a bigger name like Pickens in the trade market. But there are few players as dependable, consistent and familiar with the Dallas system as Cooper left on the open market. Cowboys enter debate over signing troubled Texas Longhorns receiver. The Dallas Cowboys did not draft a wide receiver in last weekend's 2025 NFL Draft, despite the position being arguably their most pressing need. Front office brass has emphasized their search for an explosive number 2 option receiver for CeeDee Lamb, but with no action from the draft, fans now expect something substantive to be coming soon. Maybe not substantive, but it is now time to look for undrafted free agent contacts to fill training camp rosters. Dallas has already signed 2 pass catchers for camp in Texas Tech's Josh Kelly and Oregon's Trayshawn Holden. Another wideout who went undrafted? Troubled Texas Longhorns ex-Isaiah Bond. Earlier this month, Bond turned himself into Frisco police because of an outstanding warrant for his arrest on a charge of sexual assault. He was enrolled in the NFL Draft and was once projected as a first-round talent. Bond, 21, was released after posting $25,000 bail. His legal team then took action. Following the release of a shocking affidavit, Bond and his representation filed a defamation lawsuit against his accuser in the United States District Court in North Texas. A 17-page legal complaint and explanation was sent to all NFL teams by his agent, Damian Butler. Then, no teams took a gamble on drafting Bond. That now puts him on the free agent market to get invited to camp and potentially earn a contract the hard way. For teams desperate for receiver depth, like the Cowboys, is Bond worth a dart throw? One NFL team source tells insider Mike Fisher, "Let's see if he's proven innocent." Let's see what happens when the dust settles. Fine. But if we consider Dallas' 2025 draft class, they bring in 9 players who all have incredible leadership reputations, experience captaining their teams, and have proven a strong love for the sport, which tells you they don't get into off-the-field messiness like this. Then that puts Bond on the short end of the stick here, because that's not the character a table-pounding for culture head coach like Brian Schottenheimer wants in his locker room. In this case, we imagine he would be pounding the table and demanding no. Yes, Bond is an excellent receiver prospect who can be signed at a very low risk, but this organization has officially entered a culture change. We bet a training camp invitation is not about to knock that momentum off the tracks. Cowboys predicted to sign 10,000-yard WR for Dak Prescott. After appearing in 8 games last season due to a season-ending hamstring injury, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is on schedule to be healthy enough to suit up for the team's Week 1 matchup in 2025. However, despite many rumors throughout the offseason, the Cowboys did very little to surround him with new weapons, as they did not any pass catcher of note through free agency or the draft. However, that could quickly change with Tyler Sullivan of CBS Sports naming them as the best fit for free agent wide receiver Amari Cooper, who last year hit career lows in receptions, 44, yards, 547, and touchdowns, 2. While Cooper split time between the Browns and Bills last season and had lackluster numbers, he should be able to come in and contribute, especially thanks to an already established rapport with Dak Prescott, Sullivan wrote. However, even those poor numbers in 2024 aren't far off from the Cowboys' number 2 option at wide receiver, Jalen Tolbert, who last year had 49 receptions, 610 yards, and 7 touchdowns. As alluded to by Sullivan, this would also be a bit of a homecoming as Cooper spent time with the Cowboys and Prescott from 2018 to 2021, appearing in 56 games, accumulating 292 receptions, 3,893 yards, 27 touchdowns. Throughout his 10-year career, the 5-time Pro Bowler has also proven to be one of the best at his position, racking up 711 receptions, 10,033 yards, and 64 touchdowns. The Cowboys also couldn't have to break the bank to get Prescott a new target either, as Spotrac places Cooper's market value at $18.9 million annually. And you fan? What do you think about Amari Cooper's situation? Write to us in the comments.